start painting my nails, and while they dry, I'll do some exercise. That was good, really good. You want to kiss me? Oh, you do?
I don't mind the kiss. I want a hug.
You don't want a hug? No. Why not?
Because you're sweet.
So?
Puppy nose or pantyhose? Puppy nose.
Well, I'm getting settled in here. Let me ask a question. Do you think that there is an age for dressing? Like, do you think that there's an age limit for dressing? Why am I asking you that? Because here's my choker. I am 37 years old, and I don't know if somehow there's an age that this stops. Like, this isn't my era. This was in the 90s. This was what I dressed like. And to see it come back, why wouldn't I want to do it? If I can get the dresses and my combat boots, yes, I would do that again also. So is there like an age where this stops? Like, okay, fine, you're getting too old for this. You can't dress like that. Personally, I don't think so. Happy Friday, guys! I hope everyone is enjoying this day today and that you have a great weekend. Now, who remembers this game? Oh! Oh!
Titi.
He's concentrating. He's concentrating really hard.
We have a snowman.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. We're going to do it!
Titi, I made it in the middle. Titi, I made it in the
You
middle
did it?
from here. Titi, I made it in the middle from here.
Good job, sir. Good job, sir. Let's put this up before mommy gets here.
Yeah. Let's put it up. Let's put it up.
You have to put your shoes on again and your coat, your sweater. Put your sweater at least.
Titi.
Yes?
They tell us since we're little kids, don't play with right? Don't play with fire, don't play with matches. Because it can start in a little flicker, and next thing you know, you have destruction. But fire has good things too. We cook with it. We heat ourselves up with it. Fire produces light, which can illuminate for us to see clearly. And so fire has its purpose, and this fiery furnace, God provides us revelation, liberation, and now promotion. But in order for us to be promoted, we need to be ready. See, I'm reminded of a story of a church where they were getting ready to study the book of Malachi, chapter 3. There's a verse there that says that He will purify us like a silversmith. Él nos purificará como un platero. Aquel que brega con la plata, silver. And this lady, part of the leadership, she had never heard the scripture. And she was curious, and so she began to Google silversmith. And sure enough, there was a silversmith near her house. And so she drove to the shop. And she wanted to just observe. So she asked the silversmith that happened to be there. He opened the door, and there was no activity, so he let her in. And he actually turned the open sign to close because he knew her curiosity. He says, "Yeah, come on in." She says, "I just want to study you. I just want to observe it. I just want to see how you do what you do." He says, "No problem." And he grabs a big black piece of metal and puts it on the table. She says, "What is that?" This is silver. You'll see. There's an oven in the corner, and when he's getting ready to put this piece of metal, he cranks up the oven, grabs this piece of metal, black, dirty, grimy, throws it in the oven, and things begin to fall off of the piece of metal. There's a window that you can see the whole thing happening. And she says, "How do you know how the temperature, how do you know?" And he says, "Oh, well, that's important. It can't be too hot because I can really, really destroy the whole project, but it can't be too cold or not as hot because it needs to really clean off the impurities." And so he opens the oven, he takes the piece of metal out, and he places it on top of the table for it to cool off. And as soon as they get into conversation, he grabs the piece of metal again and he throws it in the fiery furnace and begins to burn off again. He takes the piece of metal, he brings it out to the table to cool off again. Now it's starting to look a little bit more like silver. And as he's working on the piece of metal and they're having a conversation and he's beginning to polish it and get it looking like silver, she says, "I just want to ask you one last question. I won't bother you anymore." He said, "No, it's no bother. Ask away." She says, "How do you know when you're done?" And he looks at her and he smiles and he says, "That's a great question." He says, "I know when I'm done when I can see my reflection in the silver." You want to know when God is done with us? We have to look like Him. He has to be able to see Himself in us. He has to be able to see His own reflection in the product